Okay, so for this week's curriculum, the warm-up we're going to use for the entire week is simply going to be a review of the main moves that we did last week, and that's going to be armbar, Kimura, and triangle. Each group will do each move, the armbar for 2 minutes, the Kimura for 2 minutes, and the triangle for 2 minutes. Then we'll flip-flop, the other person will do each move for 2 minutes, and then we'll get started with class. The armbar I want to use, same side hand grab the wrist, opposite side hand grab the tricep, foot goes to the hip, same side of the arm I'm attacking. I take angle opposite of the side of the arm I'm attacking. I hold his hand on his face, leg in a circular motion around his face. My leg's windshield wiper down towards his head, 75% pressure on the head, 25 on the back, hands on his hand, 2 on 1, lift the hip, thumb up, arm down, squeeze the knees together, and tap. The Kimura will bring the arms out, we'll control the wrist. I'll come up to my elbow, bringing my armpit over his shoulder. I grab my own wrist, pull him down, lift his butt up. I hook his foot, leg across the back, hand to the middle of the back, bending his arm, making all of his ligaments and tendons as tight as possible. Quick pop to the head. Triangle, both hands grab the wrist. Both feet to the hips, scoot, create a little space. One leg in, one leg out, one arm in, one arm out. Foot to the bicep, hip up high, take that angle, feed this arm to this side, this hand to the head, this hand to the shin. Figure 4 those legs, both hands to the head, lift the hip, pull his head in, squeeze the knees together, and crunch, all at the same time. And that's our warm-up. So we're always going to go back to review the curriculum that we did the week before. Everything's always going to stay in the mix. So this week we're going to start off with cross choke again. Just because that's the most basic and one of the most dangerous and effective and resourceful moves you'll ever learn in this game. And then we're going to add a choke, which is baseball bat choke. So cross choke, of course, we open the lapel. First grip goes 4 fingers in. Second grip goes underneath the arm, 4 fingers in. Once again, my elbows come to my body. I squeeze them in tight. That's cross choke. Now the second choke we're going to use is baseball bat choke. Okay? I'm going to go 4 fingers in, and now my thumb goes to the same side as the 4 fingers, but right behind my grip right here, okay? Then I'm going to use my foot just like arm bar on his hip, the opposite side. I take angle just like arm bar. When I do that, I use this hand, and my wrist comes down alongside his neck. I come back to close guard, and once again, I pull my elbows into his neck. Now the difference in choke is that this is a 4-finger choke and a thumb-in choke. The hand that's the thumb-in keeps pressure on his chin and face. My elbows still come in, but it's my bottom arm that's really driving the pressure of the choke. So once again, we have cross choke and baseball bat choke. 4-finger grip, thumb-in grip, foot on the hip to take the angle, to help me bring my hand around. I keep this hand straight, my choke hand straight. I don't have a bent wrist. I come back to close guard because that's where I'm secured. Forearm on the face, pull into my body, elbows into my ribs, and choke. Okay, so for the Kimura we're going to use this week, the technique of the move stays the same. The beginning's going to differ just a little bit. Let's pretend my opponent has strong pressure right here. Maybe he's grabbing my gi. He has good grip on my gi. I'm going to come a 2-on-1, 4-finger grip to his sleeve. I'm going to curl my fingers on the top to the inside. So the outside to the inside. I'm going to pull his hand up high and hard. I'm going to plant it to the mat, and I keep grip with this one hand. Once I have this to the mat, I come up to my elbow. I'm going to use this other hand to come over his tricep, and now I'll catch his wrist. Hook the leg, hand in the middle of the back, hand to the top of the head. Let's remember when we're right here, if I can't hook this back leg, just keep the guard closed for right now. Keep your hips squeezed, your thighs squeezed tight to his hips. And down. So using the...
Go.
Okay, guys. So using the Kimura technique that we were using this week, we're going to go over just a simple, basic Kimura defense, and not even so much a defense, but more along the lines of a survival technique. I have this 2-on-1 four-finger grip. I pull the arm, I place to the outside. I'm going to come Kimura. So just basic knowledge of defense. This guy's arm's behind his back. He's going to want to bring it towards the inside, and he's going to maybe lift his knee, grab on the inside of his leg, and then bring his knee down. Once he's here, he holds on to his thigh and or grabs his hand behind my butt. But right now, we'll just keep the hand in the thigh, and he keeps me from being able to pull this arm out. Okay, guys, so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to keep adding technique from where we left off the week before. So we're going to come to Kimura. This guy comes to his Kimura defense. From the Kimura defense, I'm going to come Guillotine. It's a simple way to set up the Guillotine. And then from the Guillotine, we're going to work this guy's Guillotine defense. So I come Kimura. Now my opponent, he grabs inside his leg. Notice when he grabs inside his leg, it's easy for him. He keeps his head right by my rib and my armpit. Whenever I feel this, I know that his neck is right around the corner from my arm. So I bring this arm around, and I make this grip right here on the side of his neck. I'm going to bring my elbow down. I pull my legs away. I pull the head. My elbow comes to the mat, and I choke. On the other side of this, his defense will be he sticks this arm, the offside, the side that's not choking, halfway in. His forearm he's going to use like a crowbar. His elbow's going to go to the mat. Once his elbow goes to the mat, I no longer have the pressure I need to choke on his neck. And then at that point in time, he starts creating a little space. Maybe the entire time his near hand's fighting my grip. Maybe he pulls his grip, puts his elbows down, turns his head to my inside, and sits up to a good posture and guard. Let's remember that when it comes to defending chokes, you always defend at the source first and foremost. It's my grip that's choking his neck, so you have to remember to eliminate the grip. Okay, so now we're going to use that last sequence to set up our timing sweep. And let's remember that we're doing all this to the left side and the right side. 2-on-1, four-finger grip, pull, force the arm to the mat, Kimura defense, up on that elbow, guillotine defense, up to the hand, hip up high, armpit over the shoulder, coming timing sweep. Now we're going to do two separate moves right now. We're going to do a review of what we did last week, which of course is going to be four-finger grip, second hand underneath, lift them up off the mat, elbows into my ribs, lay low, lay soft, head to the mat, and choke, cross choke. And then we're also going to be using today the baseball bat choke. I like this baseball bat choke because it also introduces a new position of attack. We're going to finish from side mount. Sometimes when you give up both hands to choke from mount, you give up your base. You make it easy for the guy to roll, create space, create a situation, and just keep you off balance. So now I'm going to come four-finger grip. Let's say this guy tucks his chin in too. I'll just bring this thumb in behind. I come off side mount. I bring this arm around. And then I bring my opponent to his side. Once he's to his side, he has no leverage to move my base, to move me. He can't arch, he can't bridge. I have him by the gi, and I pull him tight. And everything stays the same. My elbows are together. I have my forearm on his face, making his chin turn down with this arm. And my bottom arm pulls straight up to choke his neck. And I condense the choke. Boom, baseball bat. now we're going to use that same sequence to set up another tack from side mount. Something that I really like to do, whenever really I timing sweep, I always look to do this. If I land in mount and I'm competing, of course I try to stay on top and mount to get my points. But I'm always happy going to side mount too. I feel like I have sometimes more option of attack and more simple idea of control. Now when I'm to here, right when I come over the top, I stay hooked onto this arm. So my armpit's over the top of his shoulder. It's just like Kimura when I was from guard, but now I'm from top. So what I like to do is I like to make my Kimura grip. I keep his hand flat to the mat, and I come off side mount. When I come off side mount, my inside knee goes to his armpit. This outside leg walks to his back. I pull him up onto his side. I keep this hand behind his back. I'm squeezing him with my knees, and I tap one. Now from here, we're just going to finish our bar. When I go to our bar right here, I like keeping his hand behind his back. I turn my hip around and I squat, so I'm always in control. I pull this arm back, and I always like to bring my foot around to cover the stomach. It's easy for the guy to defend, to walk out if I don't pull this over the stomach. So especially in the beginning stages, always I'm going to put this arm bar to control his chest and his stomach. I'm going to lay flat back just like we did the other week. I like to keep the one hand on the forearm, the one hand to the wrist. I keep my knees squeezed together. That one flat. I like my feet flat. I bring my hip up, pull the arm down, and tap. Remember, rule of thumb. Arm breaks opposite in which the thumb point. So I always just like keeping the thumb up so I know I break the arm going straight down. So now we're going to address maybe a little defense on that timing sweep. Always adding something new. We're going to add the back position right now. We're going to add 2 new chokes with the gi. And I think we're going to keep it fresh. So let's work on this defense for the timing sweep. This guy peels my hands. He comes up to timing sweep. When he goes timing sweep, my opponent's going to have to open his legs. So when he goes to sweep me, I step over this back leg. My foot's flat, my knee's pointed to the ceiling. Now what I do is I drop this knee down exactly where the inside knee is, and my inside knee goes up to the position that my back leg was in. My foot's flat, my knee's to the ceiling. Now from this position, rather I take this arm out or leave it in, I come to the seatbelt grip, I sit to my butt, and I take my opponent's back. It's not going to work. Anyways, so now we're going to add some fresh technique. We're going to add a little movement on the body. We're going to go over a little bit of defense on the timing sweep. And then we're going to go over 2 new chokes using the gi. We're going to do cross choke from back. And we're going to do a side cross choke from back. All right, so this guy peels my hands. He comes up to do timing sweep. When he comes out to do timing sweep, look, his leg's open. So as soon as his legs are open, I like to post on his knee, and I step this leg around. When I step this leg around, my foot's flat, and my knee's pointed to the ceiling. Notice my leg in between, my knee's flat, and my toes are on the mat. I'm going to switch those positions. Now this knee that's behind his back, toes are on the mat, knees on the mat, and this leg that's inside, foot flat, and the knee is up. So from this position, I come seatbelt grip. I'm going to come seatbelt grip, I come up on my toe, and I sit back to take his back right here. From this position, just to practice different grips, I'll come a double under and control his lapel. When I control his lapel, this is great for a controlling position because my opponent tries to move, and he stays right here. Now it doesn't matter what hand you feed. One hand releases, comes thumb and grip around the neck. In this far hand, lets go of the near lapel and grabs the far lapel. My arms go straight, and my chest leaves his back, closing my wrists off, closing the space off in between his gi and the neck, creating the choke. The second choke we're going to do is going to be a side cross choke. So this grip stays the same. If I'm on a double under, this will come all the way around thumb and grip. Once it's thumb and grip, I lay to the side. As I'm laying to the side, I control underneath his arm here. I lay to my side. This arm's going to catch high on the bend of his arm. This hand comes behind his neck. My knuckles are the knuckle sides towards to his neck. And I choke. I like my hand to come around the curvature of his head. My forearm pushes through. My arm that's on the side of the mat is straight. I'm not on my elbow. I'm laying on the side on my shoulder and choke. Make sure to arch your hip.